It's Tuesday, March 25th, 2017, and welcome back to another Dukes of Dice Daily. This is Sean from the Dukes of Dice podcast, and I hope everyone's week is shaping up okay. I feel like I'm still recovering from my out-of-town trip last week, and then all of Chewy's birthday festivities. By the way, if you missed how adorable my daughter Chewy is, go back to the April 21st DoD Daily. I think you'll enjoy it. So I got some new acquisitions I want to show off. First, this is the U.S. Civil War. It's published by GMT Games, designed by Mark Simonich. It's a two-player strategic level war game that covers the entirety of the Civil War. Now, honestly, this is probably not going to get to the table anytime soon. Rory from Empire Board Game Library ordered this in for me, and we call some of these our retirement games. So I guess I'll need to hurry up, get rich, and then retire. So he also ordered me the entire run of Doomtown Reloaded, the expandable card game from AEG. I had a couple copies of the core set when it first came out a couple years ago. I really enjoyed it, but didn't really have anyone to play with. It's based on the CCG from the 90s called Doomtown, which is set in the Deadlands universe, which has a weird West theme. So last summer, AEG announced that it would no longer be producing Doomtown Reloaded, and the license was going to go back to Pinnacle Entertainment Group, who had the original CCG. It doesn't look like Pinnacle has any plans to continue Doomtown Reloaded, but you can get Doomtown on Pinnacle's site. So what I have here are all of the small expansions that they're called saddlebags, and then all the larger expansions called the Pine Box expansions. So you can actually get this whole bundle, including a base set, on Pinnacle's site for $310 US. And I'll put a link in the description below. It's a really great LCG-style game that uses poker hands to resolve events in the game. There's also an area control element where you're basically trying to control certain locations in and around the town of Gomorrah. It's definitely worth a look, especially if you like the Weird West setting. Having the entire set is going to give me a lot to play around, a lot to build a decent number of decks. Really looking forward to it. All right, well, that's going to do it for my recent acquisitions. What I want to do now is talk about a recent article in Popular Mechanics that focused on the 50 best modern board games. So this was written by Mark Herkewitz, and he introduced the article with the following. Sure, the classic board games like Monopoly, Risk, and Battleship are still great fun, but the number of new games has exploded in the last several years as designers dream up space adventures, deck-building sagas, and zombie survival games. So order a pizza, invite over 1 to 3 friends, and try out the best board games released this year. So this is a pretty interesting take from someone not necessarily in the board game industry. Some of his other recent articles are titled, "There Are Organic Particles on the Dwarf Planet Ceres," "The Supernova You Were Never Supposed to See," and "This Plant Owes Its Blue Leaves to Quantum Mechanics." So he's very much a hardcore technology reporter. Yet when you go through this list of board games he recommends and also see his commentary on each, you realize that he's a pretty solid gamer. A lot of the games came out in the last year or so, but there are some others that are at least a couple years older, and we can kind of just scroll through to get a feel for what he's recommending. A lot of it is what you would call Cult of the New. There's also some standouts like Falling Skies, which is the Gaelic revolt against Caesar. It's part of GMT's coin series. There's even a game I haven't heard of called Space Team, which is a chaotic and cooperative card game. Overall, I think it's a really solid list, and it has some of my favorites like Mombasa, Codenames, Scythe, and Elysium. Just about every game on the list is available for purchase, and he provides the price they're available at and an Amazon link. But as solid as this article is, I wonder if it's a bit of information overload for non-gamers. A list of 50 games is certainly a lot, and I wonder how much of the commentary most non-gamers are actually willing to read through. It's likely a case where non-gamers would skim through the list and pause at box covers that look interesting, but I feel like a smaller and more curated list would be better. So don't get me wrong, I think it's great to see our games get this kind of exposure from a site like Popular Mechanics. A lot of times with these articles, it seems like the writer has done only surface-level research on the topic. But assuming Michael has played all of these, he's clearly got some bona fides here. I'll put a link to the article in the description below so you can go check it out. And let me know in the comments below, what you think of the list. Is this something that you could share with a non-gamer to kind of whet their appetite? Do you find this kind of article helpful in your board game evangelism? Let me know. Well, that will do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out this week's podcast where I was joined by special guest Rob Rouse from Blue Peg Pink Peg. Until next time, this is Sean, and I'll catch you later.